Hi guys, welcome to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Morgan and I'm the maker behind LA Crochet. And if you're a returning crochet friend, then welcome back. I'm super excited because today is my very first YouTube tutorial, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make my no-sew bumblebee keychain. If you've seen my previous market day recap videos, then you probably recognize this guy. They usually do pretty well at my markets and they're relatively quick and easy to make. So I wanted to film a tutorial for you guys in case you'd like to make some for your markets. But first, if you'd like to support my channel and see more tutorials in the future, be sure to like this video and subscribe. And of course, this is my pattern that I created, so please don't copy, resell it, or distribute it as your own. I don't think you guys would do that, but somebody is a little untrusting of people. And if you guys make some bees and you post them, please feel free to tag me on Instagram so I can see your bee keychains. But alrighty, let's get into the tutorial. Alrighty, you guys, so for supplies, you guys are going to need black, yellow, and white yarn. In this video, I'm using Parfait Chunky by Premier Yarns, which is a size 6 super bulky yarn. And these are the shades Sunshine, Black, and Cream. And if you would like to give your bee blush and a smile, be sure to have a little bit of pink yarn and black acrylic yarn for the smile. You'll also need a 3.5mm hook, 2 8mm safety eyes with the backs. You'll also need some polyfill, a stitch marker, some yarn needles, scissors, and of course a keychain. I love using these gold keychains. I think they just go really well with the plush yarn and they just make the keychain look so classy. So if you guys would like to check these keychains out, I'll be sure to link them below for you guys. And of course, if you guys would like to increase or decrease the size of your bee, you can change the hook and the yarn size accordingly. For our bee keychain, we'll be crocheting into a magic ring and we'll be doing the following stitches: single crochets, increases, decreases, and bobble stitches. And we'll also be doing several color changes as well. So I really wanted to make this tutorial accessible to as many crocheters as possible. If you're a relatively new crocheter or if you need help with completing some of these stitches, then go to this point in the video where I'll be doing a much more in-depth version of my tutorial and going into a lot more detail on how to complete each of these stitches. And if you're a crocheter who already knows how to complete these stitches, then keep watching because we're gonna get this tutorial started right now. Alrighty, you guys, we are going to start by putting 6 single crochet into a magic ring. Once you've done your 6 single crochet, go ahead and close your ring. For the second round, we're going to do 6 increases for a total of 12 stitches. Alrighty, at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and place my stitch marker in the last stitch of that second round. Now for this third round, we're going to do a single crochet followed by an increase, and we're going to repeat that 6 times. Now for round 4, we're going to do 2 single crochets followed by an increase 6 times for a total of 24 stitches. Now for round 5, we are going to do 24 single crochets around. Now in the last stitch of this round, we are going to color change to our black yarn. This is where we're going to start to form our first stripe. So once you've attached that, you can go ahead and put your stitch marker back in the stitch. And now for round 6, we are going to single crochet around for a total of 24 single crochet. Now in the last stitch of this round, we're going to color change back to our yellow yarn. And we can put our stitch marker back in that stitch. I also like to stop here to secure this black strand to the strand that we created using the magic ring. I like to secure these together just to make sure our black strand doesn't go anywhere. Okay. Now once we've done that for our next round, we're going to do another round of 24 single crochet. We have now reached round 8, and in this round we are going to add our 2 wings. First, we're going to start with 10 single crochet in our yellow yarn. All right, and before you finish that 10th single crochet, grab your white yarn and we're going to do a color change to the white yarn. Now in this next stitch, we're going to do a bobble stitch using our white yarn. So we're going to wrap our hook around our yarn, insert into our next stitch, pull up a loop, and pull through the next 2 loops. And we're going to do that until we have 5 loops on our hook. So that's 3, that's 4, and this is 5. So now before we yarn over and pull through all these loops, we are going to color change back to our yellow yarn. So you're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 of those white loops, and then we're going to single crochet into our next stitch. At this point, I like to stop and just pop that bobble stitch out a little bit. So now we're going to do 1 more single crochet. So there's going to be 2 yellow single crochets between our 2 wings. Before completing this second single crochet, we're going to color change back to our white yarn. And we're going to do another bobble stitch to make our second wing. All right, now again, before we yarn over, we're going to color change back to our yellow and pull through all these loops. Now we're going to single crochet into the next stitch. And at this point, I like to stop, pop out that second bobble stitch, and then I like to cut the white yarn because we're not going to be needing that anymore. And then I like to tie these 2 together just to secure them into place, make sure they don't go anywhere. Now, after we did that 1 single crochet in the yellow yarn, we're going to do 9 more single crochets for a total of 10 single crochets after our bobble stitch. And then before we finish this round, we are going to color change back to our black yarn. So at this point, I like to stop to add the face. Now that we have our 2 wings, we're able to center the face on the wing's body. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my hook out for a second. Okay, so I just grabbed my supplies for my face. So I'm going to pick up one of my safety eyes. I like to put them between rounds 3 and 4, about 8 stitches apart. So if we count from the center, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. 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 1, 2, 3, So I'm going to place one safety eye there, and then I'm going to count 8 stitches away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then of course I'm going to take a look at it. Make sure I like the way that it looks. Make sure it's nice and centered where I want it to be. Then I'm going to take my backs and secure those eyes into place. Okay, now that we have our eyes in place, I like to apply my blush. And I always like to put my blush directly below the eyes. And I come in from the back, just like that. Make sure it's symmetrical, more or less. Remove some of these fuzzies. And there we go. And then I like to secure these by tying them together as well. All right, now we are going to apply our smile. So we're going to take our black acrylic yarn and we're just gonna eyeball where we want our smile to be. And I, again, come in from the back. I usually like to put my smile in the same row as my blush. I just like the way that it makes the plushies look. But of course, you embroider your face however you would like. And there's his little smiley face, so cute. So we're gonna flip over, secure the 2 strands by tying them together. Alrighty, and there we have it. Our face is finished. So now we're gonna pick up our hook and we're gonna get started again with round 9. In this round, we're going to be adding our second black stripe. So we're just going to be doing 24 single crochet around. In the last stitch of this round, we are going to color change back to yellow. We're going to put our stitch marker in, and then we are going to do another round of 24 single crochet in our yellow yarn. And once we finish this round, I like to cut the black yarn because we are done with that color. And then I like to secure this one into place just with any of the strands that we already have in our bee. Our bee's looking super cute. We are going to do now for round 11, 2 single crochets followed by a decrease. And we're going to repeat that 6 times for a total of 18 stitches in this round. All right, and then we're finishing off this round with our last decrease. Okay, we can put our stitch marker back in that round. At this point, I usually like to grab some stuffing and just stuff him a little bit. We can add some more stuffing once we complete the next few rounds, but I usually just like to put a little bit in there to start. Okay, and now for round 12, we're going to be doing 1 single crochet followed by a decrease. We're going to repeat that 6 times for a total of 12 stitches. Now at this point, we'll want to stuff our bee the rest of the way. Once we do this final round, it's going to be pretty difficult to get stuffing in there. So try to make sure that you have all of the stuffing in that you would like. For our final round, we're going to be doing 6 decreases. once we have finished our last round, we're going to cut a long tail because we're going to close up this hole, and then we're also going to use this tail to attach our keychain. So I like to leave quite a bit of yarn to give myself plenty of room for that. So we finish off. Now we're going to pick up our needle, thread our yarn through, and we're going to put our yarn into the front loop of each of these 6 stitches in the last round that we just did. At this point, it's kind of like a drawstring brag, so we just pull to close that hole, remove some of the fuzzies that might have come off. Now we're going to attach the keychain. So you can go ahead and grab your keychain. I like to insert my needle back through pretty much the center of that hole that we just created, and I bring it up directly in between the 2 wings up here. Okay, now I take my keychain and I weave it through the bottom ring of my keychain. Now I take my needle and insert into another stitch here. I flip my bee over and I bring my needle directly into the bottom of my bee and pull. Then we can check our top, make sure that our keychain is exactly where we want it to be. Now down here, I'm going to loop my yarn around one of these stitches to secure the keychain in place. So I'm going to insert back through and bring it back up to the top of my bee. And I like to do it twice just to be safe. So I bring it back through that bottom ring and then back down. And then at this point, you can bring your knot to pretty much anywhere in your bee you would like. So I'll bring it over back here. If you want, at this point, you can kind of weave it around a few more times until you feel like it's as secure as you would like it to be. Then we make a knot. I usually like to do 2 knots. Alrighty, then I leave a little bit of space, trim that. And then we're going to use our bigger needle here to push the knot back through one of these stitches. All right, if you notice that there's a little hole left, you can just kind of squish around your plushie to make that hole disappear. And then just to give your bee more of like a round shape, it might come out more long like this because of how you've been working on it. I just like to squeeze the 2 sides together to make it form a little bit more of like a spherical bee. And that's it. You guys have your completed bee keychain. Yay! Isn't he so cute? You guys can take a minute to admire your bee keychain and all of its cuteness. You guys, isn't our little bee keychain so cute? I just love his little face and how round he is and his tiny little wings, and he just looks so derpy and cute. I hope that you enjoyed my very first tutorial and that you love your new bee keychain. I plan to make a lot more tutorials for you guys in the future. If you guys liked this video, consider subscribing, and you can check out my Instagram and my Etsy, both linked in the description. On my Etsy, I have listed a lot of the cute plushies that I make, and I also just listed my brand new fruit basket bundle pattern. This is a 5-in-1 pattern, and it includes patterns for the watermelon keychain, the orange, the pineapple keychain, the kiwi keychain, and the blueberry. These are just really quick and easy $5 makes that you can have at your market. So if you guys would like to check that out, it's on my Etsy. And as always, if you guys have any questions that I didn't address in this video, please feel free to leave a comment. And with that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in next week's video. Bye! If you're watching this part of the video, then you're probably pretty new to crochet, so welcome. Crochet is such a relaxing and fun activity, so I'm really happy that you're here and wanting to learn how to make this bee keychain. Before we get started, I do recommend that you have at least crocheted before attempting to create this keychain. So that way you know already how to physically hold the yarn and the hook and how to maneuver your hands. Crochet really uses a lot of fine motor skills, so I recommend getting the hang of those before starting your first project. Like, I'll show you guys. So this is the very first thing that I ever crocheted. It's just a box of single crochets, and it really allowed me to get the hang of how to hold the yarn and the hook in a way that's comfortable for me. But alrighty, let's get started. Alrighty, you guys, we're gonna get started with our bee keychain. If at any point this video is moving too fast for you, you can adjust the playback settings on your YouTube video to make it go a little bit slower. At the same time, if this is going a little too slow for you, you can make it go a little bit faster. So we are going to start by making a magic ring in our yellow yarn. So first we are going to drape our yarn over our non-dominant hand. We're going to use our thumb to secure that yarn in place. Then we are going to wrap the yarn around our two fingers and cross it over in the back. We'll use our ring finger to secure that yarn into place. So this is what it looks like from both sides. We'll now take our hook. We'll insert our hook under this first strand, pick up the second one and twist it around, just like that. Now we are going to pick up that same strand and pull it through with our index and ring fingers. Hold that knot in place, slip these fingers out. Now pick up your yarn however you'd like to hold it. I like to weave my yarn in and out of my fingers like that. We are going to grab the magic ring so that our thumb and our middle finger are holding it like this. And then I also like to have my ring finger resting down here. Another important thing is to have this index finger controlling the yarn here. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put 6 single crochet into this magic ring. And this is what that's going to look like. Holding this yarn in place, we're going to bring our hook down and we're going to grab this yarn and pull back up. Once we've done that, we're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. That is our first single crochet. So now we're going to complete that 5 more times. Okay, so bring it down, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. That's 2, that's 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so now at this point we've put 6 single crochet into our magic ring. Now we take our little tail here and we pull on it to close our ring, just like that. So congratulations, you guys, you've just finished round 1 of your bee keychain. Now for this second round, we are going to do 6 increases. An increase is when you put 2 single crochet into 1 stitch. So right now we have 6 stitches in this round. If we put 2 single crochets into each stitch, that means by the end of round 2, we're going to have 12 stitches in total. So if you're looking at this and you're not sure which one to start with, you can always count backwards, okay? So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know that this stitch here is my first stitch of this round. So I'm going to insert my hook into this stitch. I'm going to yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over again and pull through those 2 loops. Now I'm going to put another single crochet into that same stitch. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. So now I'm going to repeat that same increase 5 more times. So this is 2. This is 3. This is 4. This is 5. And one more increase. This is 6. At this point, I like to take my stitch marker and put it in that last stitch that we just created. Okay, so at this point, you've just finished round 2 and you should have a total of 12 stitches in this round. Now for round 3, we are going to do a single crochet and an increase 6 times for a total of 18 stitches in this round. So in this first stitch, I'm going to do 1 single crochet. And then in the next stitch, I'm going to do an increase. So I'm going to do 2 single crochet in the same stitch. Now I'm going to repeat that again. I'm going to do a single and then an increase. And we're just going to keep repeating that all the way around. And while you're doing this, you can always count to make sure that you finish with 18 stitches. Another way to know that you're doing it right is that when you reach the end, you will finish this last stitch with our stitch marker. You'll finish that on our last increase. Okay, so that is the end of round 3. And if you want to double check your work, count around, you can make sure that you have 18 stitches in this round. Next, we're going to move on to round 4. So we're going to do 2 single crochet followed by an increase. We're going to repeat that 6 times for a total of 24 stitches in this round. Okay, so we're going to insert into our first hook. We're going to do 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and then we're going to do an increase. So 2 single crochets into the same stitch. And we're going to keep repeating this process all the way around. Alrighty, and then we're finishing our last stitch in this round with our last increase. Again, if you'd like to double check your work, you can count your stitches. You should have 24 stitches at the end of this round. Okay, now for the 5th round, we are going to do 24 single crochet a round. So every single stitch in this round is just going to receive 1 single crochet. Okay, you guys, I'm finishing this round. So this is 22, 23, and then in our last stitch, so we're going to remove our stitch marker. We're going to, at this point, color change to our black yarn so that we can make the black stripe on our bee. So we're going to insert our hook into our last stitch of this round. We're going to pull up so that we have 2 loops on this hook. Now, instead of yarning over and pulling through with our yellow yarn, we are going to grab our black yarn, and I like to secure it into place with my middle finger. So I hold it so that the black yarn is secure with my middle finger. Then I hold my black yarn like how I like to crochet. Secure it into place with that middle finger, and then from this point I yarn over with the black yarn and then pull through these 2 loops. Okay, and we can take our stitch marker and put it back in that stitch. Now at this point we are going to single crochet 24 in this next round with our black yarn. So every single stitch in this round is going to receive 1 single crochet. So we've got 21, 22, 23, and once you get to this last stitch in this round, we are going to color change back to our yellow yarn. So we're going to insert our hook, pull up so that we have 2 loops on our hook. Now we are going to switch back to our yellow yarn. So pick up your yellow yarn over, and use it to pull through your 2 black loops. Now we're going to take our stitch marker and put it in the back of that last stitch we just created. At this point, I like to stop and secure this little black strand to our first little yellow strand. I like to do this because it helps prevent any of the yarn from becoming unraveled. So I just take the 2 pieces and I tie them together like that. And I usually do it like 3 times. Okay, so now that's secure. So for this next round, we're going to do another round of 24 single crochet in our yellow yarn. Okay, so every one of these stitches will receive 1 single crochet. Alrighty, 23 and 24. Okay, so we just finished that round. So your bee should be looking like this. At this point, it kind of looks like Charlie Brown's shirt, which is kind of funny. So the next round that we'll be doing is round 8. In this round, we are going to be adding the wings. But first, we are going to start with 10 single crochet in our yellow yarn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on this 10th single crochet, we're going to color change to our white yarn. So we're going to pull up a loop so that we have 2 on our hook. Now we're going to use the same method that we did before to color change to our white yarn. So we're going to hold it in place with our finger, hold it in place with our middle finger, yarn over, and pull through these 2 loops. So now in this next stitch, we're going to do what's called a bobble stitch. This is going to form our wing, and I'm going to walk you guys through how to do that. So we are going to take our hook and we're going to wrap it around our yarn like that. Now we're going to insert our hook into this next stitch, yarn over, pull through. So you should have 3 loops on your hook. Next, we're going to yarn over and pull through those first 2 loops. So now you should be left with 2 loops on your hook. And we're going to keep doing this until we have 5 loops total on our hook. Okay, so we're gonna loop around again, bring our hook back into that same exact stitch that we just went into, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through the first 2 stitches. So now we're left with 3. Wrap around, insert into that same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. We have 4. Now we're going to go for our last one. So wrap around, insert into that same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and only pull through those first 2 loops like you've been doing. Now we are left with 5 loops on our hook. Now we are going to color change back to our yellow yarn. So we're going to pick up our yellow yarn like this. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 of these loops like that. Next, we are going to do a single crochet into the following stitch with our yellow yarn. Once you finish that next single crochet, I like to pop out my bobble stitch. So I push in on it from the back, and you should see it kind of like elevate up above the rest of your stitches. Okay, now we are going to do another single crochet in our yellow yarn. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, but we're going to color change now back to our yellow yarn. Yarn over, pull through. So there should be 2 single crochets of the yellow yarn in between our 2 wings. Now we're going to make our second wing. So we're going to do another bobble stitch. So wrap around, insert into our next stitch, pull through the first 2 stitches. Wrap around, insert, yarn over, pull through the first 2. And we're going to keep doing this until we have our 5 loops on our hook. So at this point, we're going to color change yet again back to our yellow yarn. So we're going to take our yellow yarn, yarn over, and pull through all 5 of those loops. And then we're going to single crochet into the next stitch with our yellow yarn. We're going to pop that wing out just like that. And now we are going to finish this round with 9 more single crochet in our yellow yarn. So there should be a total of 10 single crochets after you've finished this second wing. So you already did 1. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now on this last stitch, we're going to remove our stitch marker, and we are going to color change to black because we're going to make our second stripe. Okay, we're going to color change to black. Insert our stitch marker. Now at this point, we are all done with our white yarn. So we can take our scissors, trim that, and then I like to tie my 2 pieces of white yarn together just to secure them in place and make sure they're not going anywhere. At this point, I also like to stop and apply the detailing on the face. So we're going to pull out our hook here. Because we have already done our 2 wings, we can now center our face onto our bee. Alrighty, so I just grabbed my supplies for the face. So I have my 2 8mm safety eyes with the backs. I have some pink plush yarn for the blush, and then I have some black acrylic yarn for the smile. So first I'm going to pick up one of my eyes. I like to place the eyes between rounds 3 and 4. So you can count from the center. So our magic ring, you'll see it's this circle here in the center, that's 1. So if we count 1, 2, 3, and 4, that means we're going to want to stick our eye in between those 2 rounds. So I usually like to eyeball it, if you will, no pun intended, actually pun very much intended. And I place that into the stitch. Then I usually like to place these like 8 stitches apart. So I'll usually count from this stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The way it ends up being is usually that the eyes are pretty much directly below each of the wings. So go ahead and take a second, make sure that you like where the eyes are placed. Once you're satisfied, you can grab your backs and secure your eyes in place. Now we're going to add our blush. So go ahead and grab your pink yarn and your yarn needle. I like to put my blush directly below the eyes, and I like to come in from the back here. So I usually insert about there, pull through, making sure I still have a little bit of yarn on the back to tie the strands together. Insert back in, and then I bring it over to this side. This whole time, I'm just trying to make sure that where I'm inserting the yarn is symmetric on either side. We pull through gently to make sure we're not pulling too hard on that side. And we put it back through. And we take a look. Looking super cute. I love the look when the blush is directly below the eyes like that. Now we're going to take our 2 pink strands and we're going to tie them together to secure them into place. At this point, I usually get pretty excited because you can actually start to see your bee coming together. He's already looking so cute. Now we are going to add our smile, and I usually like to use black acrylic yarn for this part. So we're going to insert through the back yet again. And we're going to start off to one side so that we're forming the corner of the smile. So we pull that through, and we just pull enough so that we're still leaving a little tail on the other side. Then we're going to insert at the bottom of our smile and bring it back up at the other corner of the smile. We pull through it gently like that, and then we take our yarn and we insert it back into that bottom stitch. Pull gently, and there you go. He's looking so cute with his little smile. So we're gonna secure that black yarn into place. Give it a few knots just to make sure that our smile doesn't go anywhere. We want our bumblebee to be smiling for forever. Alrighty, and that's what his face is looking like. Sometimes the center here might pull out a little bit after you're done working on it, so you can just kind of squish it back into place like that so that he has more of a rounded face. But yeah, that's his face. He's looking so cute. Now you guys, we're going to move on to our next round. We're going to be inserting our next black stripe on our bee. So we're going to pick our hook back up, insert it into our loop, and pull it tight. And for this round, we're going to be doing 24 single crochets around. So every stitch will receive 1 single crochet. And make sure when you guys get to these bobble stitches that you're getting each of these stitches. So there should be 2 yellow in the middle and then 1 stitch for the white. And then of course we follow that with the 10 single crochets that we did in yellow. And once we get to the last stitch, we're going to remove our stitch marker, insert our hook, pull up a loop, and we're going to color change back to our yellow yarn. So we're going to pull through, insert, whoa, my stitch marker just tried to run away. We're going to insert the stitch marker into that last stitch. And now for this round, we are going to do another 24 single crochet in our yellow yarn. And when you're working into darker yarn like this, sometimes it can be a little difficult to see each individual stitch. So sometimes you really have to go based on feel. When you insert your hook into each stitch, it should feel like really nice and smooth. If you meet some resistance that you're not used to feeling, that probably means that you're not in the correct area. Right, this is 23 and this is 24. So we've now finished that round. At this point, we are done with our black yarn. So we can go ahead and take our scissors and cut that. And I like to secure this piece just to any strand that's already in the bee. It really doesn't matter. We're just making sure that nothing comes unraveled later. Go ahead and take a minute, admire your lovely bee and all of his glory. He's looking super cute, I'm sure. So for this round, we are going to start to close up our bee. So in this round, we're in round 11. We're going to be doing 2 single crochet followed by an invisible decrease, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So we're going to start with 2 single crochets. So 1, 2. Okay. So basically what a decrease is you're taking 2 stitches from this round and making them 1 stitch in the next round. So in the first round, we started with 24 stitches. By the end of this round, we are going to have 18 stitches. So in order to do that, you're going to take your hook and you're going to insert it just into the front loop of the next stitch, okay? You can kind of see, if you look closely, there's 2 loops to each stitch. We're only going in that front one. Now with our hook still inserted into that front loop, we're going to insert it into the front loop of the following stitch as well. So we should have 2 front loops on our hook. Now we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through those first 2 loops, okay? And then we're going to yarn over again and pull through the remaining loops, okay? So let's do that again together. We want to do 2 single crochet. So that's 1, that's 2. Now we're going to do our decrease. Insert into the front loop of the next stitch, insert into the front loop of the following stitch, yarn over and pull through those 2 front loops. We should have 2 loops left on our hook. Yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. And we're going to keep repeating those 2 single crochets, decrease all the way around. Okay, so 1, 2, decrease. And 1, 2, and at this point you'll need to remove your stitch marker so that we can decrease into those last 2 stitches. Okay, we can put our stitch marker back. If you guys would like to check your work, like I said, there should be 18 stitches in this round, so you can count to make sure. Now we are going to start to stuff our bee. So we're going to take some polyfill and insert that into our bee. The bee is relatively small, so you probably won't need too much polyfill. And we're going to be able to add more polyfill after the next round as well. Okay, so moving on to round 12 now, we're going to do 1 single crochet followed by a decrease. And we're going to repeat that 6 times. So we're going to end this round with 12 stitches now. So we're going to start with 1 single crochet, then we're going to do a decrease. So front loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through. All right, and we're ending the round. We have a single crochet. We can remove our stitch marker and we do our last decrease. So if you see that you still have a lot more space in your bee, you can now take this time to add any more stuffing that you would like. This is kind of our last chance to add stuffing because after this next round, our hole is going to be really small, so it's going to be difficult to get any more polyfill into that. So for this final round, we're going to be doing 6 decreases. So we're going to do 1 decrease, 2, and just keep working your way around. Once you get to this point, it can get a little tricky just getting your hook into all of those front loops, so just be patient. This is 5, and now we've reached our last decrease. So I'm gonna go ahead and take out my stitch marker, and I'm gonna do my last decrease. Woohoo! Yay, you guys! So for this last part, we're going to close up this hole, and we're also going to attach our keychain. So I just grabbed my keychain here. So we are going to leave a long tail because we're going to use this tail to close the hole, and we're also going to use it to attach our keychain to our bee. What's that, like 10 inches maybe? Maybe that's a foot, I don't know. You can eyeball it. I'm going to leave about that much yarn to work with. Now we're going to take our hook and we're just going to pull like that. This is called finishing off. So if you ever see a pattern and it says FO, it probably means finish off. And we're going to weave our yarn into our yarn needle. Now to close up this hole, we're going to insert our yarn needle into the front loop of each of the 6 stitches in our final round. Kind of like what we did when we were doing decreases. So that's 1. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once you've weaved it into all of the stitches, go ahead and pull. It's kind of like a drawstring bag, so it should close that hole. Once you've done that, just go ahead and take away any of these little fuzzies that may have been produced when we were closing the hole. Okay, so now I like to take my needle and insert kind of back into the center. And I bring my yarn up between the top 2 wings, because this is where we're going to attach our keychain. Okay. Let me move these fuzzies out of the way. If you've ever sewn with chenille yarn like this, you know that it likes to shed. We are going to insert our needle into the bottom chain of our keychain and pull that all the way down. Then we're going to insert our needle into another stitch here, flip our bee over, and bring our needle to the bottom of our bee and pull. On the other side, we're going to wrap this around one of the stitches just to really secure our keychain into place and make sure it never comes off. So insert on the other side of one of the stitches and bring it back up so that it's in between the wings at the top. Just pull gently so that you don't create a divot on the bottom here. I like to do it twice, so we're going to insert back into the bottom chain on the keychain, pull through, and then insert back into the bottom again. So this is one of the trials and tribulations of sewing with chenille yarn. It does like to shed and pull off the strand like that. So if that happens, you can just trim that part off and then reattach your needle. Okay, so now at this point, we're going to insert back in, and we're going to bring this yarn to any other part of our bee that we choose. You can go ahead and remove your needle. At this point, we're going to make a little knot. And I like to make 2 knots just to be on the safe side. Okay, once you've made your 2 knots, you can go ahead and take your scissors, trim so that you just have a little bit on the end here. Then I like to take my bigger yarn needle and push all of this back into the stitch. And if when you're done pushing it back in, you notice a little hole, you can just kind of squish around your plushie to hide that hole. You can also just kind of pull it up a little bit like that, and it will make that little hole disappear. Now just squish the 2 sides of your bee together so that it has more of a round shape. And there you have it, your finished no-sew bumblebee keychain. Alrighty, my newbie crocheters, oh my gosh, get it? Newbie. Isn't this bee keychain so cute? I love how round he is and how tiny his little wings are. I just think it's so funny that if this were a real bee, he definitely wouldn't be able to fly because there's no way that these little wings are getting this body up in the air. But anyway, I hope that you guys liked this tutorial. I hope that you found it really easy to follow as a newer crocheter. And I really hope that you're just loving crochet in general so far. I plan to make a lot more tutorials in the future, and I would really like to keep doing this where I have a portion of the video for more experienced crocheters and then a portion of the video for more beginner crocheters. But if you guys liked this video, consider subscribing, and you can check out my Instagram and my Etsy linked in the description box. I also just released my brand new fruit basket bundle pattern on my Etsy if you guys would like to check that out. And if you guys have any questions that I didn't address in this video, please feel free to leave me a comment. Alrighty, you guys, I hope you have a great rest of your week and you enjoy your adorable new bee keychain, and I'll see you guys in next week's video. Bye!